These were the exact words that I heard as I took center stage. It was 29th of May 2015. Remember, Dhyan? The finals of DTAC table topics segment. I had reached that stage after winning the club contest, the area contest, the division contest, and just the previous day I stood first in the semi-finals in DTAC table topics segment. My topic in the finals was, I am different. I thought for a minute, paused and answered. Even before I finished answering, I knew that answer was not from my heart. My DTAC journey ended there. My friend Dhyan gave a beautiful answer and rightfully went on to become the champion in table topics at DTAC. Life resumed, but somehow I couldn't get that stage of the thought of the stage out of my mind. Why, I wondered. Generally, failure and me, we are old friends, you see. We've gone a long way together. So why was it different this time? Why was I still thinking about that DTAC final? After a lot of introspection, I realized it wasn't the not winning that was affecting me. It was the question itself. Am I different? Yes, I was proud of a few achievements of mine, modest achievements in life until then, but am I really different? I had to find the answer to that question. But how? I wondered again. A few days later, I was reading an article online about a sport called marathon. It has a very interesting history. Just like our word master mentioned, it originated from Greece. Now, Marathon is a place in Greece where the Battle of Marathon was fought in 490 BC. After the Greeks defeated the Persians in the Battle of Marathon, Philippides, who was a Greek messenger, ran all the way from Marathon to Athens, a distance of 42.2 kilometers non-stop, to proclaim victory. He burst into the assembly and said, "We have won!" Collapsed, fell down and died due to exhaustion. Suddenly, a crazy and suicidal idea came into my mind. Why don't I challenge myself to run a marathon within the next 6 months? Now, where do I start? That sounds good. So I went online, and as usual, after 5 minutes, I switched to Facebook. But on Facebook, I noticed 3 of my friends, Santosh, Murli, and Nagarajan, all from Sharjah Toastmasters, posting pictures of their run. You see, the answer to everything in life was not Facebook, but Toastmasters. So I called up Toastmaster Santosh and told him, I want to join you in your daily runs. So he said, no problem, Ravi. We have a group called Sharjah Buhaira Striders. Why don't you join us next Friday? And my journey began. Lao Tse said, journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. After my first run with SBS, I couldn't even take a single step. I had not even run 3 kilometers with the group, but my body was aching in all parts that I didn't even know existed. And from there, how do I reach 42 kilometers, I wondered. This is impossible. For the next few weeks, I kept hearing this word impossible a lot of times, both from myself and from others. Ravi, it's impossible for a non-athlete like you to run a marathon. Ravi, it's impossible because you need at least 2 years of training. impossible, impossible. This word, impossible, was such a big word. Friends, sometimes when our goals and dreams are really big, they scare us and they put doubts in our mind. And what I learned through this journey is the only way to overcome that is by just taking the next step. I thought to myself, forget about running the marathon, just complete your next practice run. And that's the only thing that I did. Sometimes when we go on the long runs, which are close to 20-30 kilometers midway, mentally and physically I would give up saying, I'm no longer going to run. At that time, all I would tell myself is, my friend, me and you together are going to run till that next lamppost. Once I reach that next lamppost, I would say, let me now run till that next mosque. And in that way, I would go on until I reach that finished line. Another important lesson I learned from this journey is there are no shortcuts in life. And this is a very difficult lesson for me because I love shortcuts. In fact, in today's world, we all love shortcuts. What do we want to do when we want to lose weight? Switch to a crash diet instead of moving to a healthy lifestyle. We all want money and promotions, etc. But how many of us are willing to work extra, get that extra education, take on extra responsibilities? We all want magic in our relationships. But how many of us are willing to put in the sacrifice required to create that magic? But that is where, my friends, a marathon will humble you. Because there is no shortcut to marathon running. Believe me, I have searched the entire internet for a shortcut to a marathon. You have to move your lazy ass at 5 in the morning every day to get your practice runs done. In fact, I even gave up going out on Thursday evenings because the SBS Friday run, the long run, starts sharp at 5 in the morning. And for me to go from Dubai, I have to wake up at 4 in the morning. I learned a very important lesson. If you really want to achieve something, you have to do it only if you sacrifice. The final important lesson that I learned was you have to believe. Paulo Coelho said, if you really believe in your dream, the universe will conspire to give it to you. And that's exactly what happened to me. If you told me a year before that, Ravi, you're going to run a marathon, I would have said, okay, I think this is part of the humorous speech. But once I set my eyes on that goal, magically Santosh, SDS, all of them appeared on their own. They guided me on nutrition, what do I have to eat, how do I pace myself, how do I build that mental fitness required to run the marathon. There are many times I wanted to give up, but I looked at a 52-year young Santosh who just last year did his first triathlon, which required him to swim, cycle and run in the same event. And that was inspiration. So where did those